Hi, my name is Lisa Medved, and this is my case study presentation for EDL 856, School Community Relations. The parental apathy case study presented quite a bit of information. From the case study, I know that there is a new assistant principal who notices a lack of parental involvement at the school and is concerned about that. I know that the principal is very reluctant to pursue parental involvement, citing that parents just don't care. But he did turn around and reluctantly scheduled a meeting um, for parents uh, to address parental involvement. I know a notice or announcement went home to parents regarding the meeting 2 Fridays before the meeting occurred. Um, it was unclear as to whether or not it was an oral announcement or written announcement, but nonetheless, the notice went home to parents. At the night of the meeting, 8 parents showed up, and that because of that, the principal wanted to discontinue the meeting. What do I need to know? I want to know why the principal is so reluctant to pursue parental involvement. I want to know what previous parent involvement activities have been attempted at the school, either with current principal or prior to him. I'd like to know why there was such a small showing of parents. Was it that the announcement was not um, delivered to parents by the kids, or was that really just parents didn't choose to come? And I'd also like to know what exactly was on the agenda for the scheduled parent involvement meeting. So as I look at it, I see a couple of problems. There's obviously very low parent involvement at the school, which is not a good thing, and that we have a reluctant principal who is not excited about improving this situation. So the steps I would follow to address these issues is, first of all, I would continue with the meeting. I'd start by respectfully addressing the principal and reminding him of the importance of honoring the time and effort of those who came to the meeting. We do want to improve parental involvement, and we certainly do not want parents to leave thinking that their time was not important and honored. I would continue with the agenda regarding parental involvement. I would hope that it would include discussion of ideas and concerns and expectations these parents have um, regarding parental involvement. I'd like to discuss a school-wide parent survey for my own information, but also to improve parental involvement. And if the parents there agree, I could create it as an action item for myself. Um, I think this would be important. First, it would give legs to improving parental involvement right away, and the parents that do come would see that I'm serious about improving this, and I do care about their opinions. I would also schedule a follow-up meeting so they know that this is not a one-time thing. Another step I would take is to research previous and current parental involvement. I'd like to know what's been tried, what was successful, what wasn't. Um, Seems like there was a PTO or a PTA and it was dissolved for some reason. Why was that? Um, and what efforts has the principal made himself to improve parental involvement? And then aside from that, I'd also like to know as far what the staff's doing. Aside from leadership, what is the staff, what are the teachers doing that is successful in improving parental involvement, whether it be communication, is it volunteering in the classroom, is it homework, questions, interactions. I'd like to know what they're doing. I would research some new ideas to involve parents at the school. I think first of all, I think the principal probably would appreciate some fresh insight and some ideas maybe. Be interesting to look at some research-based ideas. Using technology to reach parents, and also I'd research in social media groups. I do that as a teacher and find a lot of neat ideas and tips to implement new programs. After I research what staff's doing, I would acknowledge those that are successful and encourage those who are successful to continue to use those, encourage those who aren't currently using things to try them. I think any new ideas I find regarding parental involvement, I would train staff on those so that I can at least attempt to improve parental involvement from a different route than through the principal. I think it'd be really important to utilize digital media in order to connect with parents. I'm assuming the school has a website, so it'd be important to have a parent involvement page, maybe linked from like the events page where parents can see that there was a meeting, what was discussed, maybe some minutes and an agenda for the next meeting. Um, and so parents know what's going to be discussed and of course the date of the next meeting. Also at my school, we currently use a parent Facebook page too to get information out to parents. So many parents are using digital media. It's a really great way to just to make that real sort of informal and impersonal connection. But I think when parents feel like they know what's going on, just they have a better relationship. And when they have a better relationship, they're going to be more likely to be involved. As part of the agenda action item, I would create a survey to account for the needs and desires of the school's parents, their guardians, foster parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, so on. I could check with the district to see if they have one. Otherwise, I could create one on Google Forms. Also, a paper copy, just make sure everybody gets their voice heard. Of course, if I, do that, implement it, send it out, I would need to gather all the information and present it to both the principal and the parent group at the next meeting. Um, the last step, I would include the principal in all of these, the previous steps I mentioned, and that includes just letting the principal know what I'm doing, seeking advice. But I think by involving him, it'll increase his openness to the changes, maybe for parental involvement. It'll give him some buy-in. I think it'll help if he knows what's happening and maybe sees the value in it, it'll create a more positive relationship between the parents and him. And I think it'd create a more positive relationship between me as the assistant principal and the principal as well, just so that he feels like we're going along together and I'm not just going off on my own track. So did I resolve these things based on what's best for students? Well, I think continuing the meeting is vital. It's honoring the parents' time and effort. Certainly promotes a positive view of the school. At the very least, it doesn't promote a negative view of the school, and that can be very detrimental to parental involvement. I think it's a great jumping off spot to improve involvement at the school, um, and and improved involvement obviously is important for all students. By increasing parental involvement, it increases student success, and that's in all areas. So right now there's low parental involvement, probably meaning there's little engagement with teachers and other staff. Students are probably not as successful as they would be if parents were more involved in the school. And I think that the positive relationships that can be formed between parents and leadership through the meetings, through the ideas, by walking alongside the principal in some of these changes, I think it helps. And the principal obviously has a negative view of the parental involvement. It probably comes across in his interactions with parents, which doesn't help. Um, but I think that if his view of parental involvement improves, that it's going to improve parents' relationships with leadership and therefore have a better opportunity of improving parental involvement across the board in the school. So what was I thinking, feeling, and valuing? I was thinking that parental involvement is a common problem. In a charter school, it's a problem. In a Title I public school, it's a problem. In a regular public school, it's a problem. There's always the question of how do we improve parental involvement. Feelings, I was feeling frustrated basically for everyone involved. I was frustrated for the principal because he was obviously discouraged. I was frustrated for the assistant principal. She was excited to try and change some things and running into a brick wall of the principal. Frustrated for parents. I just thought if there's no parental involvement, they're probably disengaged, and that does not create a great relationship. Frustrating, probably not to know what's going on. And frustrated again back at the meeting for the parents that came, maybe. Frustration for the principal and the assistant principal because not that many people came. And what I was valuing, my initial thought when I was valuing the parents' time and the effort, and we don't get a lot of do-overs in education sometimes. It takes a lot to undo something. And so my biggest value in thinking about this case study was the parents' time and effort and honoring that. So they feel as though, they are important because they are. Unresolved issues for me. I still am unclear about the PTO, PTA, and then the advisory board. I don't quite understand the principal's thinking on that. I was in a school where there was an issue with the PTO and it was disbanded. And so I know that there can be some serious issues if there's not a lot of guidance. So, but I'm not sure what an advisory board would look like. So I don't quite understand that. I'm a little unclear as still to how this meeting was communicated to parents. I think that's a problem probably across the board, communication with parents if parental involvement's low. So I think that that's a problem that is still unresolved and needs to be investigated and also probably changed. And then I'm still unclear as to whether parents are apathetic. I don't know based on the 8 that showed up for the meeting. Time will only tell whether or not parents are truly apathetic or if some additional efforts would be helpful. So how did I promote the academic success of every student? Well, increasing parental involvement, it increases student success. So by continuing at the meeting, by giving out more information, hopefully to increase parental involvement will increase student success, and that includes academically. I think improving parent-teacher relationships through the promotion of whatever is working with some teachers and also training will improve the academic success of every student, just because when parents and teachers have better relationships, students do better. Promoting the personal well-being of every student, well, increased parental involvement, it increases positive relationships. And when families have positive relationships with the school, students are going to feel more comfortable being at school. They're going to want to be at school. And so that's really important to promote the well-being of students. And then also parental involvement, I think, increases information that's out there. And when there's more information, the better. It decreases stress for both families and students between each other and between families and the school and students in the school. So by decreasing that stress, I think it really does a lot to improve the well-being of students. And then how did I promote communities of engagement for families and other stakeholders in the school's community? Well, the meeting obviously was an opportunity for engagement. Utilizing social media and the website would also be a way to promote engagement with families and other stakeholders, especially the website, because the rest of the community as well can get a lot of information about our school. And I think the survey will promote a community of engagement because it's a means of engagement, and it is also going to be a means of improving engagement. So that's the end. Thank you so much for a great class. I really learned a lot. I enjoyed this class quite a bit. It made me think about how we relate to our community. Very practical, very valuable. Thank you so much.